Yeah, so it is 10 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I first wanted to open up, and I know Steve is driving, so don't worry about answering, Steve. But with everybody else, if we could go around and just kind of give us a brief overview of what you're doing right now to generate leads, what your main or your favorite tactic is that you're doing to generate leads. And we've got some seasoned people and some new people. So don't be ashamed if you're not really doing anything just yet. So we'll start with Tim, because you're on my screen first.
Sure. So what I've been doing mainly is I do reach out to former colleagues. As you know, I spent about 38 years in high tech and consulting. So I have a fairly sizable Rolodex of people that I've been talking to on a regular basis. So there's a lot of conversation. That's generated some interest to come into Southwest Florida. It's mainly I'm sending them reports, MLS reports or what have you. So that's one area that I've done. The other one mainly is kind of word of mouth through golf and tennis. I've had more people approach me while we're playing tennis that says, "Hey, Tim, I understand you're doing real estate." Yes, I am. So hand them a card. I'm available. Anything I can do to help out if you just need information. So from that point, I've been getting a lot of inquiry. And then through golf and then selling one other property here, I've received 3 other referrals. So I'm actively working with them to find properties here in Southwest Florida. So
very good. You might want to think about getting some giveaways that tie in with the sports, like sport towels or little golf tees or cooling packs, things like that. So those would be really neat little giveaways that they wouldn't throw away and have your name on it all the time. Those little cheap little ice bags or something.
Yeah, I've been handing out little pens too. I got these little nice red pens that say Jones and Co.
Those are nice.
Very good.
Really popular during the summer are those wet towels where they're wet and you snap them and they get icy cold. And I've been seeing those out. It's more so at the baseball fields a lot lately, but I'm sure you could use them for golf too.
They're $4 to $5 each, just in case you want to know. I just bought one.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so
they're expensive.
Okay.
Don McGee, what are you doing right now? What's your main plan for lead generation?
Well, I follow up with my my past customers and friends and such, personal visits and all that, and keep in touch. I do a lot of Facebook posting with a posting provider. I can select what I want to do, but they can also, something can be set up automatically.
Mm-hmm.
I not only post to my my business page, but I know some people think that you shouldn't post to your personal page, but I do anyways.
Oh yeah, I think it's a healthy balance between personal and business. So I'm there with you. Rachel, what are you doing right now, or what are you hoping to do? Because I know you're a little newer as far as lead generation goes.
I really haven't been doing too much recently because I have been focused on my own house and doing a lot of things around here.
Absolutely.
And my husband just got home from out of town, so I'm gonna spend the next couple of weeks enjoying his company before he leaves again. So,
Perfect.
But just, little promotional items, koozie cups and pens and stuff like that. And then previous clients, actually I've been in contact with one that lives right around the corner from me because I just got him. We closed on his house back when I was with the other company not too long ago. And, just like I said, I really haven't been pushing it recently. I've had so much going on around here. So,
well, your socialization is good too. If you're out with your husband and stuff like that, connect, making those connections, grabbing those names. That seems to be
local restaurants, because when we go out and
you can write off your food if you're talking real estate.
Exactly.
IRS lets you write off your part of your meal. So just keep the receipts, girls and guys.
Yeah, it's a big topic we're going to talk about today too, like getting out into the community and going to the restaurants and your favorite little stores and stuff like that.
You just randomly, when you sign that credit card receipt, you leave that pen there.
Exactly. They always need pens. Always.
They always need pens.
Christine Hitchcock, what are you guys like, or what is your favorite? Because I know your team with Crystal does a lot. So what would be your favorite lead generation tactic that you do?
To be honest, I think she just encourages mostly like golf outings or go golfing, goes to, you know, just be active. And I think a lot of people right now are more into working with you if they actually know you. So instead of sending out like flyers and the mailers, people are more comfortable when, you know, they know you. So she's suggesting, you know, just get to know more people, get out and about, you know, just socialize, meet new people and do, you know, that's the only way. I think that's what the only thing really we're doing. I mean, we have sent out some flyers and that, but nothing really has come about, like too much business has really come about from it.
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to do today is tie those two together, right, Joanna?
Yeah, it does take quite a long time if you're just reaching out to people that you don't know, but the important balance is creating the relationships and then sending out those touch pieces to remind them regularly. But I agree, if they don't really know you or they only gotten like one letter from you, why are they going to choose you over somebody that is a friend of somebody that they know of somebody that they know is a realtor?
Right. Trying to join as many groups and do social things. Like there's a couple of Facebook groups, like there's like a Southwest Florida girls networking group. And like they keep setting up, they have events almost 2 or 3 a week. And like some are like, you know, wine tasting, some are, you know, there's so many, like one was like a paint and wine. And then another one was just going out to eat. Another one was, they went to some gym studio, and they did like that bungee aerial, like exercise. So I missed out on that one, but you know.
Watch that one from the ground with my iced tea.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So I think, you know, anything like that, I think would be fantastic.
Yeah. So you're focusing on relationship building for sure.
Yeah.
Christina Mehta, I know you just joined in, but we are just, each person is sharing what their favorite lead generation tactic is. Do you have one yet?
Well, can you hear me well enough?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the same way, getting out in the community. I know a lot of people here through different organizations. So calling people I know on the phone and just reminding them of who I am and that I'm doing real estate now. So just same thing, relationship building.
Yeah. So it seems like everybody is really kind of focusing on the same thing. You're looking at your sphere, your relationships, which we're going to cover a little bit about that. Because it is a very important part of getting people to know you and reminding them that you're a realtor, but we're going to cover some other ways of how to just, you know, get cold leads as well. So we're going to do a good mix of it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, so everybody can see that well?
Love the Jones and Company colors. Perfect.
Yeah, they're always all Jones and Company colors. So, okay. So like I said, we're going to talk about a huge mix because today's lead generation is no longer just about like one thing that's really hot. You know, you used to do all the mailings and stuff like that. And then it used to be all about social media, or it used to be all about apps and texting and website. And we've gotten to a place now where it's a mix of everything, because you want to talk to everybody on every platform and be where the consumer is at all times, which seems like a lot of work, but it can be simplified. So first, which a lot of you guys seem to be doing, is your sphere, focusing on your sphere, your friends and family, first and foremost, especially if you're new. You need to be sending out announcements of, hey, I'm a realtor. And then as you go on in your career, you need to remind them, because your friends and your family can actually be the first people to forget about you sometimes. And I know that's hurtful or sad, but it's true. How many of us have logged onto social media and see like one of our friends say, oh my gosh, I'm a homeowner, and they were posting these pictures, and you're like, what the heck? What about me? Well, if you're not reminding them, how are they to know? So the second part of your sphere is expanding your sphere. I've met with a lot of people before that are like, well, I only have so many friends and family, or, you know, I'm a loner, and that's okay. Whether you have a lot of friends or family or you don't, you should constantly be expanding your sphere. So any person that you come into contact with is your sphere. It's not just your direct family or the people who you talk to on a weekly basis. Your sphere can be people that you know, the grocer at the store that you've checked out with 5 times. I mean, you should be having conversations with these people, collecting information from people anywhere that you go and adding them into your database is going to help make them an acquaintance into a lead. And those people who don't buy houses, aren't ready to buy houses, or aren't ready to move, you know, they're going to know people as well. So it's just constantly expanding this spider web of connections into other leads that are potential. Other ways to expand your sphere are going to be joining groups. So I know a few of you had talked about that. Christine talked a lot about the Facebook groups that she's joined. So she's going out and socializing with people. Tim's got his golf group, which is a great way to make connections. But if you don't have those groups yet, you know, you can join social groups like the Chamber of Commerce and other things like that. There are lots of realtor groups, which I will always be a great advocate for joining a realtor group and expanding your education and your knowledge. But for lead generation, it's important to join groups that don't have to do with real estate so that you can be the only realtor in the room. I mean, that's the whole point of it. But if you've got kids and your kids go to school, join those PTAs, join the sports clubs, join the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, all those things, because you can make great relationships through these groups. And never mind friends for life, you're making great connections that will potentially be leads. But the important thing to think about this when you're expanding your sphere, it's not all just about business. It's not just all about one thing. Think about what you like to do. Enjoy your time while you're generating leads. It'll make this job a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable for you if you don't already love it to death like the rest of us. So if you're into tennis, join a tennis group. If you're into knitting, join a knitting group, especially where I'm going to keep picking on Christine Hitchcock because she's newer in the area. She came from Ohio, so she's joining all these groups where she's going out and making friends, but at the same time, she's lead generating. So those are great ways to make connections with people. And of course, it's not going to be you walking into a room and right away shaking hands with people and finding someone that day that wants to buy or sell their home. These are relationships that will take, JJ, what would you say? Probably like 6 months to a year. You're muted.
I was trying to be nice here. Yeah, but yeah, reality is it really does take 6 months to a year. That old story in any business is where you have to drip at least 6 or 7 times before they even remember who you are. So you really have to work on that, especially in Florida. There's so many realtors and there's so many people out there. Just be prepared for the long haul. And when we talk about real estate, it takes 3 years realistically before you start seeing the referrals coming automatically from all of the relationship building and the past successes you've had. So really don't get discouraged with it. Just know that's going to be your time frame. And if you're working towards that goal, then I think you're going to be really excited about what's happening.
Absolutely. I agree. And don't mute yourself just yet, because I'm gonna get your broker opinion on this next one. It's important to have a referral program. Like I said, maybe the people you know that are in your sphere aren't ready to buy or move yet, but who do they know that's ready to move, and what can you do for them? What are some great programs, JJ, that you've seen some of our agents do as far as, you know, what can they give people to,
as far as the referral part for realtors, or you're talking about with customers?
Non-licensed people.
Non-licensed people?
Send me a lead and.
Oh yeah, you can. Okay, thank you. Those are things where, and Christine and I were talking about that the other day. You've got groups like social groups, like your tennis, your golfing. Maybe your kids are involved in sports programs or arts programs. Those are really good key ways to offer rebates, if you would. Like I worked with a lot of teachers when I was selling. So I would say to my teachers, I will give X number of dollars, like $200 off of every sale towards your school supplies for your room. They get really excited about something like that. You know, if it's a sports team, you could say, you know what, I would love to be able to help support the team. So for anyone who gets, you know, who gives me a referral from the team, I will donate, you know, money towards the team. That gets them excited because now it's something for them as well. You know, it's not just helping you build your business, but now there's some that famous question of what's in it for me. That helps them out as well. I think that works really good. If you're involved in your church or some other charitable organization, again, key into that. For every listing or sale that I make, I will donate X number of dollars, or I will give a percentage to that. Your customers themselves always have favorite charities. And that's one thing I always like to do, say, when you're doing your interviewing with your buyers or your sellers, you know, what are you involved in? What's your favorite charity? So I'll tell you what, you know, at the end of the day, when we close, I'll make a donation to the guide dogs for $200 in your name. Would you love that? So you're giving back to the community, which our younger millennials and all of that are really involved and excited about, and you're building the same thing. And I'm going to mute because I'm going to cough.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so it's just important on that note, like these are great ways to give back for people who are going to give you leads. It encourages them to send you more information, send you people who are ready to buy, but do make sure you go back to your original licensing courses and remember that you can't give people a commission if they're unlicensed. So don't get confused with referral program. When I talk about giving your customer something, do it in the right way that will excite them, but not in a way that'll get you to lose your license, because then all of this will be useless, right? All right, so aside from working your sphere, what else is going to be great, especially if you're just starting out? And I know it seems like we're going back to the basics here, but open houses. These are going to, I just lost all of your faces. Oh, there you are. So open houses are going to allow you to really meet people one-on-one. Like we talked about in the beginning here, if they don't really know you or they don't have a sense for you, people are kind of shyish and they don't want to work with you right away. Having an open house and allowing people to see who you are and mix personalities really builds relationships rather quickly. And most people think of open houses just as a way to get buyers leads, because you certainly can get plenty of buyers leads right now doing open houses. But depending on how you market it and what you prepare yourself for, this can also be an opportunity to gain listing leads. If you use an open house as a way to canvas a neighborhood that you want to work, then it's going to take you a lot further as far as getting listing leads and maybe possibly opening up the open house to the neighborhood ahead of time before the open house and saying, you know, come choose your neighbor or see your competition. That leads them to believe, you know, not just the nosy neighbor that wants to be able to figure out who's going to live next door, but saying see your competition is insinuating for those of, yeah, I wonder what their house looks like because we were maybe thinking about selling in, like, I don't know, 5 years, and next thing you know, you've got a listing. You can use any of the Jones & Company Realty listings to host an open house. Just communicate with the agent who has it listed. Our agents all love working with each other and creating opportunities, especially, you know, our agents that have a good number of listings, they can't sit them all weekend. So if you don't have any listings yet, not a big deal. Just sit some of our open houses at our Jones & Company listings. But also we have an Open House Pro YouTube. We did a whole class on how to have a really successful open house, how to gain leads from it. I would go back and watch that one as well. It has a great way of different apps to use so that you can log your information and create a whole Excel spreadsheet of leads and some follow-up in there as well.
Yeah, I think when we were talking about open houses before too, think creatively. There aren't that many sticks and bricks to sit, but what about a super duper lot in a great neighborhood? Do a lot open house. Put the little canopy out there, put your cooler with some, you know, some water and things like that. People will think, what the heck are they doing? You know, they're going to stop just because you're there, you know. Have a couple of lawn chairs out there. You know, some of these agents really go out there and they even put a barbecue little grill out and do things like that. You'll get attention. It's a different kind of an open house too. You're always, you know, one step ahead of somebody else.
Absolutely. Yeah, those lot parties, I think that's so creative. I mean, you might think it's crazy, but they look like a lot of fun. I've seen people even bring out like mini pools.
There you go.
All depends on what your niche is and how you're trying to work at. So our other thing for generating leads would be social media. And this might seem like a very obvious thing for you, but sometimes it gets left to the wayside because we're going, oh yeah, Facebook, I don't have time for that. Honestly, social media is one of the top ways to gain leads right now, and it can be for free or at a very small cost. So social media is also not just considered Facebook and Twitter and those things. It's considered any kind of social content. So that's why you see we've got several different sections of social media here. So under the social business pages and groups, I've listed out what the top 10 social media platforms are right now. So if you're kind of only on one and you don't know what other ones to get into, these are the top 10. And when we say top 10, I'm talking by the amount of users that are on it. So if you're looking to get in front of the masses, this is the way to do it. Obviously, Facebook has the most. YouTube comes right in second for how many users they have. WhatsApp is more of a communication tool, but it's listed as a social media, so we've put it in there. Then you've got Instagram for photo sharing, TikTok, which I'm going to watch all of our older generations roll their eyes. We've got Snapchat, Reddit, Pinterest, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So with these platforms, obviously Facebook being the most well-known for it, you can have different groups in here, you can have different pages, and you really need to have your business page out there so that people can find you. You are not going to get leads if you are MIA, and not everybody is on Facebook. So that's why it's important to be on all the social medias. So whatever platform your consumer is using, you're there. What's great about these is most of these allow you to run ads as well. We're going to dig into that a little bit because that's more of the paid version of this. But, you know, for a small fee or for free, you can really be out there making relationships and connections with people and showing them, especially, you know, John talked about how he shares even on his personal page. And I do think that's important because, again, your friends and family are going to be the first to forget that you're a realtor. So some of us don't want to sound like a car salesman or like we're, you know, selling just, you know, everybody's selling something nowadays, whether it's nail polish, Pampered Chef, Mary Kay, you know, we've got all of those groups on Facebook. And we always worry about being that person, but don't be so far to the end of trying to not be salesy that you don't sell to your family and friends at all. I think having a business page on these platforms is very important so that you can constantly post business to it, and then regularly sharing stuff from your business page to your personal page, whether it's once a week or every other week, depending on how much you post, is not going to, you know, clog up your family and friends feed with salesy type stuff. It's just a healthy reminder. But joining groups or creating your own groups, whether it be directly real estate related or fun related, can really be beneficial to you. So I've seen a lot of like Southwest Florida real estate groups where it's realtors running them, and they invite people who are interested in real estate, you know, based on advertising demographics. And people are out there just talking about different topics. You can invite your favorite lender to it so that they can post like about rates and stuff like that, but you're providing them information and a platform to discover information. But as long as you don't allow a whole bunch of other realtors on there that are going to steal away your customers, it can be a benefit to you. And again, it doesn't just have to be real estate related. You can start, you know, a golf group. You can start a tennis group. You can start, you know, the girls' night out group that Christine's a part of is great because, you know, being a realtor on there, you're focused on something else, but you can still connect and build relationships with these people and then make a sale. So the other option is going to be blogging. Capturing those that are in the research phase or that are like DIY people can be very helpful. A lot of times nowadays, we've all seen the statistics for years now. People start searching online for property, or they start looking up how to sell their home online far before they even think about contacting a realtor. So if you can catch them in that research phase and you can be the one providing them the information, by the time they're ready to connect to a realtor, they're coming to you. What's important is on these blogs, either having it on your web page or having it lead to a lead capture site so that they can easily plug in their information, maybe at the bottom of the blog or the side of the blog. If you have an Agent 3000 website, there's a blog page installed in there that you can have, and then that lead capture would be to the side. But these are great ways to catch people when they're in their research phase, and then allowing them to just reach out to you whenever they are going to need more information. And in a couple slides, I'll show you some free blog resources that you can use as well. The other social media aspect to this is email. That's kind of going back to the basics again, but one of those basics that easily gets forgotten. Regular monthly or bi-monthly newsletters is a great soft reminder to people that you exist. So this is when you're building your sphere, expanding your sphere, and then after you start having business, any person you know should be in a database and should be regularly getting an email. This is something that's not going to be super naggy, especially if it's once a month. It's just you sending out a great reminder. And it doesn't just have to be a simple email that says, hey, I'm a realtor, give me a call. Provide them something that is worth clicking through for. So newsletters are great if they're community based, you know, what's going on in Lee County this month, or, you know, things to remember, especially whenever the time changes, reminding people that the time change is coming up. Find good content, reasons for them to open or look forward to your monthly newsletter. If you've got all the events going on, they'll regularly check it to see what they can plan out for that month. But also in there, you know, you'll have a banner with featured properties and different things. So it's a good mixture of content that they need and real estate related stuff.
Question for maybe everybody that's on here. When we're talking about monthly and bi-monthly newsletters, is anyone using a service or you know, subscribing to like a template of the newsletters as opposed to creating your own? If you're thinking about creating your own, you might want to find some content like Joanna was talking about, but maybe look like to FGCU, look to Southwest Florida College, you know, the Fiverr. Look for somebody who could throw it together for you, create that template where you can plug and play, because you don't want to be spending all your time being a marketing person, creating newsletters and creating content for blog and all of that. If you're spending a lot of your time doing that, you're not going to be in front of your customers. So try to find a little bit of that balance with that. And I think that's where she's talking about, all those resources to grab articles that are in there, and then just put one little piece of you in there so it looks more personal. I don't know if did you have a chance to do any research to see if there's any newsletter programs that are out there? They change so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, because I kind of saw everybody shaking their head no when you asked them what they were using. But using MailChimp is great because it's pre-templated. And then using the blog content to plug into your email is what's going to be best, so that it's real estate related and stuff like that. And then if you have a website that you like to use, I can send it out. I can send out some stuff later as well for different county links for happenings and stuff like that. You can easily link them out to the county pages where they've got announcements for the events going on, because they don't have advertising on those pages. So it's a safe place to send people. But I think your best bet, especially if you're really looking to free up time, is like you said, using those sites like Fiverr. And looking for virtual assistants that can throw stuff together for you. There are programs out there. There's like local experts that are like marketing experts, but that can get up to a couple $100 a month. You know, there are people out there that will put together email letters for you monthly and run your social media and do your blog. And, you know, they do this whole encompassing thing. Those programs can get kind of pricey. But if you're using a Fiverr person just to throw together your newsletters, then that can be on a more affordable end.
And you're talking about branding at the same time. That's gonna strengthen your brand. And Steve Venna, who's driving, I guess he's got one of the best brands out there. Do you use any kind of a newsletter or blogging thing, Steve? Was that you barking, Steve?
No, not me. Can you hear me now? I'm unmuted.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, actually, I have not gotten into blogs yet. I know they work. I just don't have my sites actually set up for that, I could honestly say. But I agree with what Joanna was saying about Fiverr and both of you, that Fiverr is a great way. In my marketing stuff that I've done work for clients, you could really find some people that are focused in real estate who can know how to research that. And you're talking like maybe $25 to write a blog article or something. So it's really inexpensive.
Yeah.
There's also on Canva, like you can just create your own and just drop it in. Us as the core team, we have one that we send out to our client or customers every month. It's a monthly one. So what we do is we put like recently sold, recently listed, and then we'll pick a city to like focus on and kind of have like a little short bio. And it really doesn't take that long. I mean, just a little bit of time, but it's free. If you're newer, free is always better. And then, you know, just plug into your, you know, whoever you want to send it to. And it looks fantastic. I mean, it's all done on Canva, but it looks so nice and professional. Like, I'm amazed at how beautiful it looks, really.
Would that be something, if you check with Crystal, that she'd be willing to like post out like onto the team page for some ideas for people?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll ask her and see if she, you know, wants, because we share it with everybody. So I'm sure we can.
Yeah, she's a great sharer.
Yeah, you know, yeah, get online and look for some that you think are really cool, you know, from other realtors. There's nothing more sincere than flattery, right? What is it? Where you just steal their stuff. That's it. Just steal it and use it, you know.
Anything to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it's not even real estate. You know, you might get something like a golf newsletter if you're a golfer or something like that. Just take the basic concept of it and throw in a house and real estate in your face, and you got it going.
Yeah. And Christine Meta, I see that you asked if paid or free. So Canva is free and the templates are all free. The only thing that you would have to pay for a membership for is if you wanted to use their photos. So you're paying for photo rights. But if you are using their templates to send out like just listed and just sold and their Jones & Company Realty properties, then you're using the photos that we already have. So that would all be free. Absolutely. And also the one that we talked about earlier, MailChimp, that's free up to a certain amount of users. And even here at Jones & Company, we haven't hit the cap yet. So you should not have to worry about having to have a paid MailChimp account. You can do email blasts for free. We love free. So the next thing to focus on would be niche leads. So what area of the business do you like or do you excel at? So this, we're still kind of talking about relationships. We're still kind of talking about pretty much a free way of generating leads and not having to pay directly just to get leads, easy peasy. This is going to be focusing on what you like, what you excel at. There's so many different areas. I've just listed a few, but start to think about what you're good at, what conversations you're good at having, what type of customer you like to deal with, and then think about how do I meet those people? So FSBOs, super easy to come across. We have an entire FSBO class up on YouTube, how to find them online, aside from just driving around your neighborhoods and seeing the for sale by owner signs. And we also have all kinds of drip campaign letters. So if that's something you like going after and convincing people, you know, that they need a realtor and you want to get listings, FSBOs is the way to go. We did, and it's up on YouTube as well. We did, JJ had the double D's, death and divorce course about how to do that the right way, how to come in contact with those people. So if you're really good at handling those situations, making relationships with people who are probate lawyers or divorce lawyers, or, you know, scanning for information like that, that could be a way to get leads. Or going after people who are married, looking up the marriage certificates. Those people always need to expand or buy their first home together. There are so many different aspects that you can come at this with. So you got to think about what kind of person do you like to work with and start to write down all their characteristics. And then think about, okay, where can I find these people where I can just look up their information? You know, is there an easy way to find these people and come into contact with them and regularly drip on them? Is there a specific type of person that anybody else likes to work with? Maybe doctors or, I mean, doctors always have money, right?
This is Tim. So, you know, part of my career was working with a lot of client executives. So you know, directors, senior directors, VPs, CXOs and such. So I feel very comfortable in having, you know, casual conversation about kind of what's going on in life, you know, in business, industry, and plans moving forward and such, you know, whether it's retirement or semi-retirement or even consulting. So that's kind of an area that I feel pretty comfortable in having conversations with people with. The other one I wanted to bring up too is I frequent down at the Pointy Bell Brewery right on San Carlos, and because they make really good beer, heads up. And it's just another casual setting that you can have a conversation in, and again talk about life things as opposed to, oh, want to buy a house from me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Making this relationship before you have the sales conversation.
Right. Exactly.
Awesome. So then, you know, you could possibly reach out to people who are in those executive positions regularly and be able to have conversations with them easily. It's about knowing what conversations you're good at, what people you like to work with, and going at it, because the rest of it kind of will come easy at that point. I was just thinking there was somebody else I had thought about. There's a lot of different groups that you can get into and go after. If you really like the money side of everything, I highly suggest going after investors. So there's a lot of different niches that you can work, and the more focused you get, the better off you are. If you just throw out this blanket of, I'm a realtor, does anybody want to buy anything, might not be as productive as being able to focus in on a certain group and then being able to kind of line your efforts into one area.
Yeah.
Joanne, I was going to say another area too is I collaborate quite often with my financial advisor. And again, they know people that in fact are looking to retire and look for certain areas. That's another great avenue actually, because now you've got people that have money, if you will, right, looking to relocate, and they kind of throw that net out there and say, hey, give Tim a call. And that's actually worked on a couple of occasions. So those take times though, I think, as JJ noticed. I mean, some of these things take years to do because they're not quite ready yet, right? But 3 years down the road, they'll say, I remember talking to Tim, right? Or John or somebody, right?
Right. Yep. Or the world turns all of a sudden, oh, we're going to close our business down. And now their retirement plan just got accelerated. But I was going to plug in on the same things you're doing. You've got this group of great experts in all these different fields. When you start talking about using your blogs or your newsletters, tag into those people, maybe have like a little blog conversation and invite some of your sphere in on there, you know, and talk with the financial planner, like, oh, you might be thinking 3 to 5 years out now. Here's just a really cool idea. So Tim's the resource for the information, but you don't have to know everything. You can connect, and that might actually give some more business to one of your people in the sphere. So one hand washes the other kind of thing.
Sure.
Absolutely. And we're going to kind of, in our next slide, we're going to get into farming and how you can, you know, plug into the local businesses and stuff like that too. That can be really important. Another quick thing to cover would be the syndication sites. There is a way that you can do this for free. You can create profiles on all of these syndication sites, such as Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, and Homes.com. Creating your profile and completely finishing it to its 100% will help put you up on the list when people are searching for realtors in those areas. You can pay to be at the top, but you don't have to pay to be at the top. If you go through and you search in your area that you want to work and see what realtors are in there, see who your competition is, you'll see that they actually don't all pay to be at the top. It's just based on who has their profile completely filled out, who's got ratings and things like that. There's a group of gals, real estate gals in Texas, and their business is completely based off of free syndication site usage. So they went through on Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com, completed all their profiles, and every time they had a closing, they had somebody write a review for them. And prior to that, they had their friends and their family write, you know, reviews and give them 5 stars and stuff like that. They make multi-millions now, about 3 years later here. And they have a blog, they regularly talk about it, but all of their business was just from people finding them on Realtor.com, Zillow, and Trulia. And they never paid Realtor.com, Zillow, or Trulia a dime, not a dime. They just filled out their profiles, got lots of reviews, went to the top. You know, obviously they used other tactics like social media and stuff like that, but most of their business comes from getting to the top of Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com. Like I said, just go out there. When you go to the top corner, there's a part where you can create a profile. Don't click the part where you create a profile as a consumer. Go to the advertising part or the agent button. Go ahead and click that, create yourself a free profile, fill it out, and start sending people those links that have worked with you before, that are friends, that are family, you know, all of your cheerleaders. Get them to write you reviews, and you'll start showing up on that first page, and the phone calls and the text messages just start coming in.
And Christina shared before you guys get out of there today, she put a ping in there on the newsletter. So grab it before the end of the meeting so you don't lose it.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, Christine. Okay, so these are going to be paid leads and advertising. So depending on where you're at in your career, and a lot of us new starting out, maybe you have some kind of a budget. A lot of the stuff that we've covered so far are free ways to get leads. But when you're brand new and you've just started out, sometimes you don't have 6 months to wait for these relationships to come through fruition. So you might want to look at getting paid leads or paying for advertising. So these are about 6 of your top options for paid leads. So first is going to be the syndication sites. We just talked about how to do that for free, but obviously there's a lot of money that can be put into these sites to obtain leads. So what you do with the syndication sites is you essentially pay for them. Pricing is based on the zip code. So it's a supply and demand. You know, if you want a popular zip code, you're going to pay more. Less popular zip code, not going to pay as much. It can be, I've seen it as low as $50 before for, you know, a small fraction of a zip code. But on average, you're probably looking at $100 to several $100s a month. So what happens with this is anytime somebody goes onto their site, you know, let's say I'm a consumer, I go onto Zillow.com and I start searching for property in Fort Myers. If I click on a property and I say, you know, I'm interested in this, I want more information, I type in my phone number, my email, and my name, and instantly my information gets sent to 3 realtors that have paid to be into that zip code. So if you are paying for syndication sites, it's important to be fast because there are 3 other people, or I should say 2 other people, 3 total, you know, that are competing against you to call that person first, to try to build a relationship with them, to try to get them out to, you know, go look at property. So there can be a lot involved in that, but it is a way to get leads right away if you've got a budget for it. The other way to pay for leads would be social media ads. So there's lots of ways to use social media for free, obviously, but paying for ads can be a great way to, you know, kind of step up or speed up the process of creating relationships with your business pages. So we've done Facebook ads before. There is a YouTube video up, so I'm not going to get into a lot of detail with it, but for as little as $10, you can run an ad. And obviously the more money you put into it, the more people are going to see it. So you can really be very versatile with your budget depending on what you want to do, but you can invite people to like your page and do, you know, or message you or do all kinds of stuff. But today we're just talking about leads. So they do have a landing page that they will provide you so that if you run an ad and somebody clicks, that you can label the button, they can click, you know, I want more information. A page will pop up and it'll ask them to fill out whatever information you want them to fill out. Just keep in mind, the more questions you ask, the less likely they are to fill it out. So I just like to keep it as simple as all the other real estate pages do. I just ask them for their name, their phone number, and their email. That way I can start to contact them, follow up with them, and build that relationship. But it's a great way. I've spent $20 over a 3-day weekend before and gotten 30 leads. So you're talking less than $1 a lead, which is a lot cheaper than your syndication sites. Also using this for your open houses is going to make your open houses go further, get more people in the door, and in turn give you more leads as well. And same thing, I spent $20 and I got about 6 people in addition that came to my open house than just the people who saw the signs. Your other option is Google Ads, where you can place yourself at the top of the search based on what keywords you purchase into. Again, this can be about $50 a month to several hundreds. I mean, it could get more than several $100s a month. It can get very pricey, but if that's what you're going after, then you can promote your website and have it clickable right at the top of a Google search. if you don't have a set budget in the beginning, or you're looking to pinch pennies, that's perfectly fine. Most of us are in the beginning. Opcity is a great option. And looking through who's on the chat, I think most of us are on Opcity here, but if you don't know about it, they give you buyer leads, and I shouldn't just say buyer leads, because it is sometimes seller leads, but mostly buyer leads. It doesn't cost you anything up front, but you do have to give them a 30 to 35% referral fee based on the price.
Yeah, I'm going to interject for just real quick here. As Joanna's getting through some more things, I'm going to talk about money. Part of what you're planning should be doing, a rule of thumb normally is you're going to spend about 15% of your commission on advertising. Advertising includes business cards, your Google ads, your social media, and all that. So if you're going to earn $100,000 this year, you want to think about spending $15,000 overall on your advertising. So if you have that in mind when you start planning these kind of things, you're going to be able to spend your money effectively. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there. So don't get freaked out when you start seeing numbers, because it's going to all come out at the end when you make all these big celebrations at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And there's so many different ways to make leads. That's why we want to cover the free ones. You know, if you literally are 1 week in the business, and once you start having your first closing, like JJ said, and you section out a part of that for your marketing, then you can start looking at what you want to pay for to get more leads. Because then it's just a domino effect from there. The more closings you have, the more money you have for marketing. The more money you spend in marketing, the more closings you have. And it's one big happy circle. So SmartZip and Commissions Inc. and other programs such as these companies, they can be a lot more money. So that's going to be $15,000 to $20,000 a year, and possibly even upwards from there. But that's like it's like having an entire assistant. They have a in-depth CRM program. They do the lead generation and marketing for you. So it's not just like you're paying Realtor.com for people who go to Realtor.com. You're paying somebody to advertise on all these places for you. Realtor.com, Google, text messaging. I mean, they do all kinds of marketing to be able to provide you these leads.
Yeah, you're going to spend a lot of money, like Joanna was talking about, to get it going. That's one thing that you're going to have to commit. We've done it here at Jones & Company, and I know other agents have done it. It's going to take a good solid year, honestly, before you start seeing some results, because our internet buyers are out there looking as far as 18 months out before they buy. So be prepared for that kind of money in there. But once it rolls, it's really going to roll like crazy. Miranda Pitts is one of our huge success stories for CRM programs. She got in with the company when they first got started, and it took a full year before she started seeing some really good return on it. And now that she's into her second and third year on it, it's just rolling. I mean, it is steamrolling, and she's getting more leads than she can actually handle. So now she's expanding her team and that kind of thing. So think about that. Just commit to that year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Miranda's seeing great success with it. And like you said, it's to the point where she's supporting a whole team with it.
Yeah.
So that's a different way of running your business as well. The other thing that you can pay for or put money into would be sponsorship. So we talked about, getting involved in groups and stuff like that to spread your sphere, which could be the free way of building those relationships. But your next step, once you're, super involved in different groups, would be sponsoring something. So sponsoring your local sports teams, charitable groups, getting advertising out of it, or any social groups within your community. It's just a great way to continue to spread your name, put a call to action out there, and get people to connect with you and build relationships through common interests, which kind of leads us right into farming your dream location. So this is going to be a mixture of, free or less expensive ways to get leads. So tools to do this with are Remine and RPR, which we've got videos for on YouTube if you don't know how to use those platforms, but they allow you to mine data within the neighborhoods that you want to take over. So this could be your own neighborhood that you live in. This could also be a neighborhood that you really admire that has like that type of homes that you want to work. I know, Tim, you guys live in Kelly Green, so you guys are really working that community. So there's so many different options here. Going and using tools like Remine and RPR will allow you to pull lists of not just addresses, but people's names, possibly phone numbers, emails, all kinds of information, so that you can use this whole marketing mix that we've gone over to connect with all the people in the community. So getting involved in your community and whatever groups they may have, sponsoring those groups is going to help you, but also making direct relationships through phone calls, emails, and regular letters is going to increase that relationship and continue to remind them that you are the local realtor. So Remind and RPR are free thanks to our lovely association. They're very expensive programs for most people, but our association has us signed in, so we all have the pro versions on there.
Mm-hmm.
You can farm people's emails, you can farm people's phone numbers, and find out all kinds of great stuff about them. If you're looking in your farm area, you can even hone down on people who have a great sellability score, people who have a lot of equity, and you can decide, how many letters you might want to send out, how many people you might want to call. If you're going to sit down and start cold calling people to try to figure out who wants to list or who wants to buy, start with the people who have the most equity or the highest sellability score, and then work your way down from there. You can be very selective with your time that you spend on this farm area. So once you've got area and you've got, your dream picked out of a neighborhood, a community, or even just a zip code, you use these tools, you start farming, you start talking, you start emailing. It's also important to show that you are the neighborhood realtor. You can do that by connecting with local businesses, which JJ touched on earlier, using the experts for content. So if you meet with local businesses, whether it's your favorite bar that you like to go to, or your favorite restaurant, your favorite store, your favorite little gift stop, any of those, you can meet with the local business owners, do a video with them, do a write-up with them, create content and share it out. How this is going to help you is not just making a silly Facebook post, but it is also building relationships with those business owners, because those business owners love nothing more than to have their business on other people's pages and getting free promotion, because they're going to remember that you went out of your way to help promote their small business, and they're going to help you promote your small business. If they've got 5 different realtors that shop in their store, and the one realtor is you that came in and did a video and promoted them across all the social media, talked them up, make them look great, they're going to recommend you the next time somebody walks into their store and says, yeah, we're thinking about selling, so we're going to have to find a different flower shop to go to. And they're going to say, well, if you're selling, Tim is great. He did a video with us recently and he's got a whole Facebook page. He really knows what he's talking about. Making those connections with the local business people is going to help you. And on top of the fact that if you're farming these areas and they go to find you on social media, you have all the local businesses, all the local happenings, and then all the local real estate, it's going to make you look even better.
And connect with those small businesses. They may want to give you like a little product code that if you're doing a blog or a newsletter saying, oh, if mention this code, TB123, and you get a free coffee or something like that. That's another way to tie it in even stronger.
Absolutely. I like that idea. Who doesn't like coupons and freebies?
And who loves TB, right?
Free beer.
Hey,
free beer. You're on, Tim.
Oh, speaking of that, and I'll just follow up on this idea. July 4th is coming up, right? And nothing's more important than patriotism and the American flag. When you're talking about farming, go and buy those little American flags. You can get them at the dollar store. You can buy them online really cheap. Get your card on there, and anywhere that you're wandering around for free beer and whatever, start handing out those little flags. Nobody will turn down an American flag, especially around the 4th of July. And businesses often will even let you decorate their little tables. Oh, they've got the salt and pepper shaker here. Here's a little flag that has Tim Bine's business card on it, or John's out, going to his favorite restaurant. Hey, can I put these on everybody's tables to give away for the 4th of July? So you spend, $20 and it really works nicely.
Yeah, it's very important to capitalize on any of the holidays that you can, for sure. And that's another great reason to send out an additional newsletter, maybe do like a holiday newsletter with the 4th of July happenings rather than just your regular newsletter. It's just an excuse to send out another email. So we've got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to zoom through this stuff really quick because we covered a lot of the important stuff. but your leads are only as important as your follow-up. You can get phone numbers and emails and information all you want, but unless you do proper follow-up and keep up with your database, it's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to find somebody else that's dangling fruit in front of them. So having a program in place that you don't have to constantly recreate the wheel is important. We've also done a YouTube video on follow-up and creating a program for that. But if you don't have time to watch that, in the least, go to our app files folder labeled drip campaigns. You can just type that in the search bar in app files. It'll pull up a whole bunch of drip campaigns that we've already created for you. It's for leads that haven't answered you yet, leads that did answer that you want to try to build a relationship with. There's FSBO letters. There's even letters to work a farm area. So if you use Remind and you farm a whole neighborhood, you get all these addresses. There's a list of about 25 letters, I believe. It's for 2 years worth of letters. You don't even have to think about it. Just send these people the letters. It's already typed up. It already makes you sound amazing. Just, you know, slap your business card on there and just start sending them out, and you'll start seeing responses very quickly. But again, it is very important if you are going to spend money or you're going to put time in, and time is money, to trying to generate all these leads. If you don't follow up, you're wasting your time. 100%.
Right.
You're muted.
Always muted. Yeah. But yeah, when if you have your CRM programs and things, they're going to have a calendar component in there so that you can put in your follow-up dates. If not, use your Google Calendar, use whatever you use to keep yourself kind of organized and put those in there. You know, you don't have to contact every single person in your database, except do it rotationally. So maybe you're only going to contact your customers 3 days a week, but use your calendar. You know, if you've got your phone, it'll plug it right in there and it'll remind you, hey, do my follow-up phone calls today from 11 to 1. That way you're getting the stuff out there. That's the biggest problem that agents have, is they get so busy with all of the daily tasks, or they get a hot lead right away. They forget that they have to do their follow-up. You've got to constantly be feeding your pipeline. So plug it in on your calendar, make it an appointment, and don't push it off unless you've got $1 million buyer.
That's great advice. And this is our last slide. These are just some programs that are going to help you out. Like JJ said, using your Google Calendar, we've got the Google platform on there. There's so many different things you can use in the Google platform to help you with your lead generation, but the calendar is going to be the most important one. Starting from the top, some different ones though, SlideDial. If you've never heard of this one before, it's a free app that you can get on your phone. And what it does is allows you to just dial right into people's voicemails. So if you're just doing a bunch of cold calling and you just want to get right into people's voicemails, you can do that with SlideDial. And it might seem like a funny concept at first, like, why would I just want to leave a voicemail? I'm hoping somebody picks up. I want to have a conversation with people, right? Well, if you're going to do maybe like an announcement for an open house, or if you want to just record what you want to say once and you want to broadcast it out to people, you can do that. You can just send it right into a bunch of people's voicemails. That is one of the paid features, but you know, they've got a lot of free features, and then they've got paid features that aren't that much money. For the millennials that are on the call that hate talking on the phone, SlideDial will save your life. Any kind of CRM program, there's a lot out there. We've done an entire presentation on CRMs before, but this is going to really help you, like JJ said, keep track of everything, what you need to do, what needs to be said, what was the last conversation you had with somebody, and what's the next step with that customer. That's what's going to help you there. Agent 3000 has a great CRM, but they're also a great website. A lot of the stuff we talked about today was having a call to action that would lead people into giving you their phone number, email, and name. There's landing pages on the Agent 3000 websites that you can use to just send people there so that you don't have to create a site to host for the name, phone number, and email. HouseLogic is the platform by NAR that gives us free blogs. So if you go to nar.houselogic.com, then you can find free blogs for realtors there, and that's free content, copy paste, and cite your source at the bottom, and you're protected, and you only have to take 5 minutes to write a beautiful blog.
Can you use the house logic on different social media things like Facebook, Instagram, you know, just to name a couple of those? Can that be replicated in there?
So you can share right from the House Logic website onto your social medias. Of course, it's going to bring them to the House Logic site. So I recommend that you copy paste it onto a blog page that you've created so you continue to brand yourself when you send them to the blog. But if you don't want to do that and you just want to share the articles onto social media, you can certainly do that. It doesn't brand any other realtor, so it's still safe. Or the other option would be to copy paste it, make it look like you wrote a blog, and then share that out to all of your social medias for sure. And then we talked a lot today also about Canva, but as you're doing all these marketing efforts and you maybe don't feel so creative or don't have time to create all of these different things, Canva is a great marketing tool. It'll create anything you need. They've got all the templates made for any kind of social media posts, flyers, blogs. They even have real estate specific templates now. They really love realtors. So you can just type real estate in the search bar at the top and it'll bring up all these different types of promotions for real estate. Is there anything else that somebody's using that helps them with their lead generation that they covered today? Everyone's like, no, we're done.
Well,
Okay.
if you find a tool, share it out on the team page so everybody can use it. It's amazing. You can share your idea with 1,000 people, and you know how many people will actually utilize your ideas, right? Very, very small. So don't be afraid to share. There's enough to go around, and the whole goal is for everybody to start making money together, because the more successful, you know, Tim is, he's going to get more listings, and then Candy and Troy are going to sell that listing, you know, and Steve's going to borrow that idea, and it'll just kind of swirl into one big successful, very wealthy JCR team. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's 11:02. Does anybody have any great words of wisdom after that? All right, well, go forth and brand yourself and have a fantastic, fantastic week and great American holiday, because we are so lucky to be living here in the United States.
Bye.